Good evening and welcome to our Sunday night video here from Park Street Christian Church in El Dorado Springs, Missouri. It is Sunday evening, January the 10th, 2021. I want to share tonight about outwardly wasting away, but inwardly being renewed. We've often heard old age isn't for sissies. Well, even the Bible warns that if we're strong enough to live beyond 70 years, we can expect increased trouble and sorrow the final years of our life, according to Psalm 90, verse 10. And in the New Testament book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 16, Paul realistically admits, outwardly we are wasting away. Aches and pains, wrinkles and dark spots, gray hair and balding, memory loss and bodily dysfunctions, heartache and mourning are inevitably part of aging. Frankly, life is often not fun. I have a friend who is about 12 years older than I am, but in December he had his physical and he received troubling news that it was detected he was 2 inches shorter than he was when he was in high school 60 years before. So apparently we also shrink with age. Indeed, we are gradually wasting away. But I want to ask you a question. What about the second half of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16, which says, outwardly we are wasting away, but inwardly we are being renewed day by day. If we really believe that because of Jesus Christ the best is yet to come, shouldn't the inward renewal outweigh the outward decline? Shouldn't it be a profound, distinctive joy in the life of the aging believer because they're nearer to heaven? The Bible says in Romans 13:11, our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. Let me ask you a question. Who's the happiest on an 16-hour intercontinental flight? The person who has just taken off from the airport in China, or the person who's only 15 minutes away from landing in his hometown? Well, the guy who is almost home may not feel as well or look as good, but he's usually the happier of the two. As we grow older, we may be wasting away outwardly, but inwardly we are uplifted and relieved, in large part because we're almost home. Younger people often worry or feel sorry for older people, worry about them. They'll say, well, look at that stoop-shouldered old widow, so many wrinkles, her beauty is long gone, life is behind her. Or that poor old man, he can barely get in and out of a car. He's got such bad knees and hips from injuries suffered back in the glory days of his youth when every step now is just painful for the guy. Well, it may surprise some younger people to learn that at times there are older people who actually feel sorry for younger people because we think, well, that poor teenage girl, she is so infatuated with that young, immature guy. She has no idea what kind of heartache she has in store. I'm glad I don't have to go through those emotional ups and downs of fickle dating relationships again. Or we think that young man is so ambitious and driven, he'll probably make good in business, maybe make a lot of money, but I'm thankful I don't have to live under that corporate and self-imposed pressure anymore. I like the peace and the contentment I enjoy in retirement. Job in the Old Testament, in Job 12 verses 12 and 13, said that wisdom is found among the aged. That's not always true, but it should be. There are some things you learn from experience that aren't taught in a classroom, the College of Hard Knocks. There was a 90-year-old man who, celebrating his 90th birthday, was asked by some in the crowd that day what he'd learned from his many years of experience. And his eyes twinkled and he chirped, well, I learned a few things. For example, I learned not to take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same day. Well, that kind of prudence is not taught at Harvard, nor anywhere else that I know of, as far as a college classroom goes. And no, nor is that sense of humor, which does good like medicine, according to Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22. You see, old age actually has some advantages. There is a distinct contentment that comes from not competing with other people anymore. There's a peace that comes from learning through past experiences that not every problem you face in life is a crisis. There are memories that bring a sense of satisfaction and give life depth. There are inexplicably sentimental blessings that come through your descendants. The prophet Simeon, you'll remember this from reading in Luke's Gospel, chapter 2, during the Christmas season last month. The prophet Simeon was an old man who God had promised would live to see the Messiah with his own eyes. And when he held the baby Jesus in his arms, he prayed in Luke 2, verses 29 to 31. Lord, you may now dismiss your servant in peace, for my eyes have seen your salvation, which you prepared in the sight of all nations. And Simeon died whenever he died, a contented old man, because he'd experienced all that had been promised him on earth. His bucket list was complete. Fred Craddock, the famous, or well-known at least, I don't know about famous, well-known preacher and preacher teacher, said in his younger years he desired to be a good preacher, but then he added, now that I'm older, I want more than anything else to be a good Christian. To live simply, to love generously, to speak truthfully, to serve faithfully, and to leave everything else up to God. That's a pretty good way to start this new year, even in the midst of a lot of chaotic circumstances. May God bless you as you choose to live that way. Simply, to love generously, to speak truthfully, to serve faithfully, and to leave everything else up to God. And that's good advice whether you're older or you're still in your 20s and 30s. Have a blessed night.